guys, I'm back with another freaking YouTube video. So today I turned 28 weeks. I'm in my third trimester. I'm almost done. My baby's almost coming. I'm so excited. Oh my god, y'all don't understand. Like 28 weeks, like what? Oh, okay, y'all don't even understand, right, how blessed I am to reach 28 weeks. And I'm going to tell you why now. Okay, so backtrack to November. I found this out in November. My birthday was November 23rd. I went to the doctor November 26th to have a 20-week anatomy scan. That's where they check the baby's heartbeat, the baby's fingers, toes, spinal cord, brain. They check your cervix. They basically check everything. So I go in, and I was gonna find out the gender of my daughter too that day. Well, of my child, which is a daughter, a girl. I know what I'm having. But I was gonna find out the gender that day as well. I was gonna have a gender reveal that Sunday. So I had my best friend come with me. So we get there or whatever, and they check my cervix first. They didn't tell me, because you know when the people that do the ultrasound, they don't tell you nothing. They wait till the doctor to come and tell you. So she checks me, we move on. She starts checking the baby. We're talking about Thanksgiving. I'm telling her how I'm gonna have my gender reveal that Sunday. Nothing seemed wrong. Nothing. They didn't have that, like, they just didn't give me that feeling of anything being wrong. So she finished the anatomy scan. We was there for like 30-40 minutes because my baby did not want to show her other hand. She showed her right hand, but her left hand, she was hiding it. It was behind her bag. She just didn't want to show it. So we finally finished or whatever, and she came back in and she told me, hold on, I'm gonna get the doctor. So anytime I have a sonogram, the doctor never comes in. They just send me home. They give me my pictures and they send me home. So when she said I'm gonna get the doctor, I got very worried. So the doctor comes in and he's like, how are you? I'm like, I'm good or whatever. So his face just looked like, I just knew something was wrong. So before he even started talking, I'm like, is something wrong? And I start crying because I was very panicky. So he's like, calm down. You have something called incompetent cervix. And then he told me, he said something about like because he didn't give me a lot of information. Everything about my situation I learned on my own. I did my research because that doctor didn't give me no type of information. He basically literally just told me, okay, you have something called incompetent cervix. Your cervix is short and you can go into premature labor. He sent me home. So I'm thinking premature labor, I'm only 20 weeks. Like, if I have this child now, it's not a high percentage of her making it. So I'm like, okay. So I'm telling him, what do I do? I'm asking him, what does this mean? He's telling me, he didn't tell me nothing. He sent me a prescription. He said that it's supposed to strengthen my cervix, and then he sent me home. They gave me an appointment for the following Monday because I went in that Monday. They gave me the appointment for the following Monday. So me and my best friend leave, right? And I'm like, I can't go home. I'm not just gonna go home and do nothing. I need somebody to tell me something. I need to do something. I'm not losing this kid. So we in the car, and I'm asking her. At this point, I'm crying. I was talking about it, and I'm asking her, what's the gender? Because I'm like, okay, I'm not having a gender reveal. Like, they just told me I go into premature labor. I'm not about to sit here and have a gender reveal, and then God forbid I lose my child, and I just sat there and had a gender reveal. Like, I'm gonna be extra hurt. So I canceled the gender reveal, and I'm like, just tell me what it is. Just tell me what it is. And she's like, no, you're gonna have it. You're gonna have it. And then finally, she passed me the sonogram. No, actually, I'm lying. I saw on the monitor when they had finished, I saw something about girl. So I'm like, I know it's a girl. I was telling her in the car while I'm crying. I'm like, I know it's a girl. I know it's a girl. She's like, well, no, it's not. And then she said, it's a boy. She said, I don't know what you saw because it's a boy. My face, I'm like, it's a boy. She's like, yup. And she passed me the sonogram paper, and the paper said, it's a girl. So I'm not going to lie. Like, I was so still hurt about what the doctor just told me. But when I saw that sonogram and it said it's a girl, I was going crazy. I'm like, nah, I'm not losing my daughter. Like, you bugging. Like, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make sure that I keep this child and she stays in me full term. So I'm gonna say, yeah, that same day I went to my GYN, because the hospital that I go to is just for sonograms. I see my prenatal doctor in another hospital, so I went to her. I just walked in. I'm like, I explained to her the situation about like what the doctor told me. I showed her this picture, this sonogram, and I'm gonna show you guys. So this is the sonogram, right, of my cervix. This is pretty weird because this is my cervix, but I'm gonna show you. So this right here is my cervix. This is where the baby comes out from. So this is supposed, this part right here is supposed to open up so the baby could come out. And mine, as you can see, was already opening, and my cervix was very, very short. And right here was not completely open, but it was wide. So that means that I was already dilating and I was funneling. Funneling means when your cervix is opening at the top. So I showed her that, right? And hold on, let me get back in my... So I showed her that, and she explained to me what I just explained to you. And she's telling me that I'm already dilated about, when she's looking at it, she's like, you're about, she's measuring it with her fingers. She's like, you're about 1 centimeter. I'm like, what? 1 centimeter? Like, I can't be dilating. I'm only 20 weeks. Like, that's not normal. So she's like, just take it easy. So no, I asked her, I'm like, dude, is there a chance? Like, is she gonna make it? She was like, she made a face. She's like, I mean, I have had patients that made it, and then I have patients that don't. But it's, I mean, it's not looking very well because you're already dilating and you're only 20 weeks. I lost it, okay? So I start crying. I go home. No, I go get my prescription, and I go home. The next day, that night, first of all, that night was the worst night of my life. Like, I never cried so much in my life. Like, I was going through it. I didn't sleep. I was worried. All I kept doing was crying. So then comes the next day. I think I went into Presbyterian. Yeah, I went to Presbyterian. Somebody recommended it to me. I went there, and I went to the emergency room, and I went to talk to somebody because I could not just sit home and do nothing. So I was in the emergency room for about 4 hours. It was so annoying. I was in the emergency room for about 4 or 5 hours until somebody called me. They finally called me, and they checked me. They did a vaginal ultrasound, and they did one on my stomach. So when they did the vaginal one, she said that I was funneling, and once again I was dilated 1 centimeter. So I'm crying. I'm still crying because I'm like, okay, what does this mean? Like, is she gonna make it? Is she not gonna make it? The doctor tells me, I mean, this is what she tells me, and this is when I lost it. And I just thank God that I didn't do what she told me to do. So she's like, I mean, it's a chance. You take a chance with this. But most people that I have, most patients that I have get an abortion because they rather basically end it early instead of going through that pain of having to deliver the baby. Because if I was to reach a certain amount of weeks, that was not viability. I would have to actually deliver a dead baby, I would have delivered her. She would have never made it, because at 21 weeks, it's very low for a child to make it. So I'm like, an abortion? So I'm going crazy or whatever. And I call my mom, and I'm like, what should I do? She's like, don't have the abortion. She's like, you're gonna fight for this. And I already knew in my heart that I was gonna fight for this. I was not giving up. I wanted my daughter. Nothing was gonna stop me from having this child, like I said. So I go, so then she recommends, she says it's something we can do. It's called the cerclage, but you're already cramping, because I had told her I was cramping. But I think it was my mind, because I wasn't having contractions. She said the cramping could be contractions, but I wasn't even having contractions because they put the monitor on me. So my mind was just making me feel different stuff, and it was all over the place. So she was like, we could do something that's called a cerclage, where it's like they stitch your cervix closed, where the baby won't, your cervix won't come out, like won't start opening. Like, even though it's already open, they stitched it closed so it won't open anymore. So she told me to come back in 2 days if I wasn't feeling no pain. So that's exactly what I did. In 2 days, I literally came back early in the morning when the hospital opened. I was the first one there with my mom, and we went and they checked me or whatever. I was still the same, which was very good. They told me I was still only 1 centimeter dilated and my cervix still looked the same, so not to worry. My cervix measured, I think, 2.7, and your cervix is supposed to be a 5. So they put an epidural on my back. Mind you, I was so scared. I hate, if you know me, you know I hate needles. I'm like terrified of needles. Like, I hate needles. So they gave me an epidural, which didn't hurt at all. Actually, I was very surprised, and I was numb, but like my body from my stomach down was asleep, but I was awake. So I got the surgery. The surgery took about 15-20 minutes. They stitched my cervix up. When I came out, I was in pain, but it wasn't really like crazy pain. Like, it was like a cramping sensation. So they sent me home that day. Yeah, they sent me home that day. I go home, and mind you, I'm online and I'm looking, and online is telling me that when they do a surgery like that, you're supposed to be on bed rest. But my doctor told me that I could only be on bed rest for 2 weeks, and after that I can go back to work. But when I'm doing my research online, it's telling me that no, that you have to be on bed rest till you give birth. So what I was gonna do was I was gonna be on bed rest until I give birth, but the doctor told me that was unnecessary. So I was on bed rest for about 2 weeks, and I did my medicine every single day at the same time. I did not play. And when I was on bed rest, I was on bed rest. I did not get up for nothing. I literally just got up to pee. I did not get up for anything else. So after that, I went back to the doctor. First, let me show you the medicine that they gave me. So they gave me this medicine. It's called Crinone Vaginal Progesterone, and basically it's a progesterone to strengthen your cervix. I'm supposed to use this every single night at the same time, and I'm still using it. I'm using it until the day I give birth. It's a little packet like this. I'm gonna open one for you. It's a little packet like this. Oh, that was horrible. Why did I just do that? But it's a little packet like this. And I struggle opening this every night because it's so thick. And you basically put, I'm not going to do it because I'm not using it right now. It comes with a little tap. You basically put this part in here, halfway until it clicks, and you stick this in your vagina and you push it, and it's like a gel that strengthens your vagina basically. So I feel like this and the surgery is what still allowed my baby to stay up there. So I go back to the doctor. I'm gonna say 2 weeks after that, I was 23 weeks when I went back to the doctor, and they told me that everything was fine, that the stitches is looking good, my cervix is still the same, and that she's fine. And I was so happy, so freaking happy. Like, I don't think nobody understands. Like, I prayed for this. I prayed to God every single night. Every single night. I did not go to sleep without praying to God and telling him, please, Lord Jesus, let me get to 28 weeks. Let me get, because after 28 weeks, that's when your baby has more of a chance of survival. So I prayed to God. I prayed to God to let me reach 28 weeks. And for me to actually be 28 weeks and know that she's gonna be here, it's like, I don't think nobody gets it. It's ridiculous, because I really thought that I was gonna lose her, and I didn't. I just thought that she wasn't gonna make it, which was bad about me because I shouldn't have faith. But I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and look. So this is my advice to you. If you're going through anything like this, always fight for what you want. Don't give up. because I could have been weak and I could have listened to the doctor and I could have sat there and had the abortion because that's what she recommended. But I fought for her, and look, I reached 28 weeks. So my baby, if my baby does come now, she has a 95% chance of survival. Compared to when I was going through what I was going through, I was 20 weeks. Her survival chances were so low, it was like 10-20%. And I made it. I made it to 28 freaking weeks. And I literally waited for this day. Like, I waited to reach 28 weeks. I had a calendar on my phone, and I would cross out every day. Every day I would cross out until that was I would cross out 1 week. Boom, I went through that week. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm 22 weeks. Cross out that week. 23 weeks. Cross out that week. 24 weeks. And I finally made it to 28 weeks. And I'm so happy. So now the recommendations that they just give me is to take it easy. I can't stand for a long amount of time. At work, I have to sit most of the time. I can't lift heavy things. I can't do too much walking in one day. I can't take advantage of it because at the end of the day, I still have a weak cervix. So I have to be very, very, very mindful, even though I have the stitches, because we want her to get to full term. We want her to reach at least 36 weeks. So I take it very easy. Well, I try. It's hard when you're doing everything on your own, but I try. I take it very easy, and I just continue to pray and have faith that literally God and faith is what brought me to this. Because if I didn't pray, and if I didn't have, which I didn't at first, but when I did, I started getting faith. If I didn't have faith, I would have drove myself crazy, because all I did at the beginning was cry. And I just had to understand that God is gonna give this is what God wants for me. I'm gonna have this child. And I reached 28 weeks. So I'm so happy, and I just can't wait to kiss her and hug her. But for anybody that's going through this or going through anything similar, or just any complications with their pregnancy, my advice to you is to keep fighting, keep pushing, and do not give up. Do not. I didn't give up, and you shouldn't either. You should fight, fight, fight. Just imagine I would have given up. I would have never knew that I would have got to this point. And look where I'm at. Still going strong. Still going strong. I reached 28 weeks, which was my goal. I mean, what more? Like, just fight. Fight, fight, fight. And if it's one thing this little girl taught me, is to fight. Girl, I would never give up on anything. I just would never. Like, she gave me so much power, and she gave me so much strength, and it's just like, wow. So now with this situation, when I have other kids, I would have to get this is a for life thing. So it's not like you just go through one pregnancy. No, it's with all your pregnancies now. So now that I have this condition, which is incompetent cervix, I have to get a cerclage put in every time I get pregnant. But luckily, now that I know, I can put it in at 12-13 weeks, which is earlier, and the chances of it working is way higher. Because what I didn't tell you is when you put it in late at 20 weeks, which they consider late, it has a chance of not working. But is it for me? Thank God. So yeah, when I have another kid or my future pregnancies, I have to get the stitches put in early. And yeah, and the stitches come out. The doctor told me, I just had an appointment last week on Thursday. The doctor told me that they're going to take the stitches out when I'm 36 to 37 weeks. So that's like the ending of March. So I'm pretty excited, and everything's looking good so far. My cervix is holding up, and everything's fine. And another thing, this baby is very, very low. That's another thing that I was going through, because I'm like, why is she okay? So I have a weak cervix, and now she just wants to sit right on my cervix. Like, she was very low to the point where her kicks, I felt the kicks in my vagina. Like, that's how low she is. That's why they recommend me to lay most of the time and sit, because they don't want a lot of pressure put on my cervix so that she doesn't bust through the stitches. But she's been holding up great, and I know I'm gonna make it to full term, and I know that God is powerful and God will do it for you. And if you're going through anything like it, girl, don't give up. Fight, 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 and do your research, because if I didn't do my research, I would have never knew what to do. Because I literally told them, listen, y'all gonna do something. If one hospital didn't do it, I'm gonna go to another one. And I changed my whole prenatal, the prenatal care that I was going to at first, the one with the guy and the girl, I changed my whole prenatal care to somebody that actually cares. I can tell that my doctor actually cares, and she wants to see me have this baby. So yeah, fight, fight, fight. Everything will be okay. Everything will be fine. God, just pray to God and have faith. But that's my story, and that's why I'm so excited that I reached 28 weeks, and God is so good, because without him I would have never reached this point. And yeah, so if you guys like my video, like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. And follow my Instagram and Snap. I'm gonna leave it in the description down below. And if you need some advice, if you're going through the same thing I'm going through, or anything else, and you want somebody to talk to, you can just always write me, and I'm willing to talk. Because if I didn't have my best friend and my mom, I got through this. I really don't. So mostly my mom, like, me going through this and my mom being right by my side just made us like this. Like, I love her so much, and it just made me appreciate her way more. But yeah, if you need somebody to talk to or some advice, you can just write me. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for my next video.